The protests that have rocked Iran are unlike anything the country has seen before. This isn't just about economic hardship or a disputed election. It's a fundamental challenge to the very identity of the Islamic Republic, a revolution led by women, demanding rights that have been suppressed for decades. What started with a single act of defiance has now ignited a nationwide movement, with the haunting chant, "Woman, Life, Freedom," echoing from the streets of Tehran to the remote villages of Kurdistan. The world is watching as a new generation of Iranians risks everything to reclaim their future. The spark was the tragic death of Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old woman who died in police custody on September 16, 2022. She had been arrested by the morality police for allegedly wearing her hijab improperly. Authorities claimed she died of a heart attack, but her family and eyewitnesses tell a different story, one of a brutal beating that led to a fatal head injury. Her death was the tipping point. The grief and outrage that followed were immediate and overwhelming, first in her hometown in the Kurdistan province, and then, like a wildfire, spreading across the entire country. The hijab, once a mandatory symbol of piety, was transformed overnight into a symbol of oppression, with women defiantly burning their headscarves in public bonfires. This movement is defined by its youth. The majority of the protesters are Gen Z, young Iranians who have grown up with the internet and social media. They have seen a world beyond the strictures of the regime, and they refuse to accept a life of limitations. Unlike previous protest waves that were often centered on specific political or economic grievances, this uprising is deeply cultural and social. It's a rebellion against the daily indignities and the systemic control over personal freedoms, particularly those of women. For them, Mahsa Amini's fate was a terrifying reflection of their own vulnerability. Her death symbolized the state's power to police their bodies, their choices, and their very existence. This generation is digitally savvy, organizing protests through encrypted messaging apps and sharing footage of their demonstrations with the world, bypassing the state's tight grip on information. The response from the Iranian government has been characteristically brutal. Security forces, including the Basij militia and the Revolutionary Guard, have been deployed to crush the dissent. They have used live ammunition, tear gas, and mass arrests to quell the protests. Thousands have been detained, with many facing sham trials and the threat of execution. The internet has been severely restricted, cutting off communication and creating information blackouts to prevent protesters from organizing and to hide the scale of the violence from the outside world. Despite this, the protests persist. Every crackdown seems to only fuel more anger and resolve. The sheer bravery of the demonstrators is staggering. Unarmed civilians, many of them teenage girls, are confronting heavily armed security forces, knowing they could be arrested, beaten, or killed at any moment. The slogan, "Woman, Life, Freedom," encapsulates the core demands of the movement. Woman is at the forefront, signifying that women's rights are central to any vision of a free Iran. Life is a cry against a regime that devalues human life, a protest against the violence and killing of its own citizens. And freedom is the ultimate goal. Freedom from authoritarian rule, freedom of expression, freedom of choice, and the freedom to live without fear. This is not merely a call for reform. For many, it's a call for the end of the Islamic Republic. The movement has also managed to unite Iranians across different ethnic and social lines, from Kurds and Baluchis to students in major cities, all sharing a common desire for fundamental change. As the protests continue, the future of Iran hangs in the balance. The regime is facing its most significant legitimacy crisis since its inception in 1979. While it still holds a monopoly on violence, its moral authority has crumbled. The courage of Iran's youth has exposed the deep fissures within the society and the profound disconnect between the rulers and the ruled. The international community has responded with sanctions and condemnation, but the real battle is being fought on the streets of Iran by its own people. They are writing a new chapter in their nation's history, a struggle fueled by the memory of Mahsa Amini and countless others who have been silenced. This is a story of incredible bravery against insurmountable odds, a fight for the very soul of a nation, and a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit in its quest for woman, life, freedom.